So how's this governor's race going to turn out there in California?
It's anybody's guess how things are going to turn out. Right now, I think most of us here in California are hoping for a two Republicans making the top two primary. If that happens, then we have a great chance. Well, not a great chance, a guaranteed chance of having a Republican
Right.
governor.
Isn't that why they forced out Eric Swalwell? I mean, everybody knew about his shenanigans for years, and all of a sudden they're like, "Oh my goodness, two Republicans could make the runoff. Let's force out the most vulnerable." And he had all the baggage, so they got rid of him. Has that benefited the other Democrat candidates?
Not really. I mean, let's be honest. In California, they have a very long and unimpressive bench. And that's the reason why we have two Republicans that are at the top of the ticket that are constantly polling one, two. At least one of them has been in the top two every single time. But lately, both of them are showing up in the top two. So, yeah, it's the problem is, like I said, they are just a bunch of never was and never should have beens.
This governor has got to be one of the worst in the country, Gavin Newsom. I mean, you've got massive corruption there in California. Is there some anger among the people about all this corruption? I mean, Nick Shirley's identified a lot of it. You've got RFK Jr. and Dr. Oz and others that have, pointed out all the hospices. I mean, just incredible fraud. So are the people rising up against that, Craig?
Well, I will tell you, I kindly refer to our governor as Governor Gavin Mussolini. He is the master of propaganda. He is very, very good at answering questions that nobody asked. He is the one person that can get up in front of media, in front of cameras, in front of audiences, and have absolutely no problem telling untruths. Uh, the fact is that he wants to be governor, but he realizes that the reality of what he's done in California. I mean, we're at the top of every list you want to be at the bottom of. We're at the bottom of every list that you want to be at the top of, and yet somehow he seems to be able to be the Baghdad Bob of California politics when it comes to completely and utterly delivering a message that is just not the truth. And people are upset about it. You're even seeing in a lot of the media sources, they're talking about a lot of the corruption. They're talking about a lot of the problems. You even have a study out of UC Berkeley where they're talking about the main reason why California is so unaffordable is because of the policies that have been passed by the California legislature and signed in law by the governor. Now, I wish they would go a step further and point out that all of those were done by Democratic governors and a Democratic controlled legislature. But I think the people of California are starting to wake up. That's the reason why Decline to State is the largest registered group here in California, the no party preference.
Yeah, and that's encouraging. So, Nick Shirley, a young man, I mean, what an incredible investigative journalist this guy is. He does the work that these networks won't do, and he uncovered a lot of corruption in Minnesota and in California. Now there's an act targeting him. What is that all about, Craig?
Well, they call it the Nick Shirley Act because what they're trying to do is make it so that an average citizen can't go and use public and have access to public information and go and do these sorts of investigations that he does, where he goes and he looks at the paperwork. He figures out, okay, where's this business supposed to be? He goes to the business, and guess what? There's no business there. There's no hospice care there. There's no daycare there. There's no provider. There just seems to be a convenient place for the state or the county or the federal government to mail checks.
That's truth.
They're fighting
Right.
against him being able to uncover that information.
Yeah, I mean, unbelievable. Do you think with this election coming up, I mean, do you sense it? I mean, California's always been considered such a left wing state. I mean, do you sense, I mean, is this a moment now, the Republicans, and you're with the Republican Assembly, that you need to take advantage of? I mean, that we need like they didn't do it in Virginia. They had a chance, I think, to stop this horrible gerrymandering. We're outspent by the Democrats 3-1. Do you need more resources to get the message out in California? I mean, what can be done to take this opportunity to move the state in a different direction, Craig?
One of the biggest challenges we have here in California is that we fund a lot of the nation's politics. I mean, politicians come from all over the nation to California to raise money. We need to do a better job of keeping some of that money here in order to effectively communicate. Every single time there's been a red wave in this country, it's stopped at the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. We've got to try and find a way to get through that. And we're already starting to see some cracks in the media. That's where the benefit of new media has come in, because new media, like Nick Shirley, is reporting on these things, and the mainstream media just simply can't ignore it. Otherwise, it becomes obvious that they're in bed with those who are in power. I mean, chances are they
Yes.
probably went to school with a lot of these folks. They're friends with a lot of these folks. They do
Yeah.
cocktail parties together, and now it's being revealed that not only are those who run these programs and those who work in the
Mhm.
state and in government are being deceptive,